Hello everybody, welcome to the LTL Mandarin School YouTube channel. My name is Max, I work in the marketing team, and the purpose of today's video is to recommend you a brilliant app to learn Chinese characters. In fact, great app, Klaxon. I hope there's one going off somewhere. It's probably the best one I've ever used to learn Chinese characters, and there's no exaggeration there. And hopefully in this video you're going to see why, because it has increased my skill set monumentally in such a short period of time. What is the app, you're all desperate to know? Well, it says in the title, it's Hack Chinese, not too much suspense there. So Hack Chinese is basically an app to help you improve your skill set with your Chinese characters and your reading. So for example, if it's speaking that you want to improve, I'd probably recommend you look elsewhere. This is all about reading and characters, and it applies to all levels, if you're a basic beginner or if you're a more advanced speaker, and anything in between. It's really very good. There's lots of numbers and graphs so you can see your progress. It's quite motivating, but instead of me just telling you this, let's dive on into the app now. So I'm going to show you on my desktop, because actually, small tip, Hack Chinese isn't at the moment an app. It's something that you use in browser on your phone or on your desktop. And I've actually met the creator of Hack Chinese. His name is Daniel. He's a lovely guy, and he recommends that you use the desktop because it's just better. You can use the keyboard, the screen is bigger, and having used both myself, I wholeheartedly agree. So we're going to go to the desktop because you can see much more on there. So let's dive in. To Hack Chinese on the desktop. Now, of course, desktop is much bigger than mobile, so you get to see so much more than what you normally would. Now, I know this all looks like a big mess perhaps to you at the moment, but I'm going to try and make it as clear as possible as we go along, because it's really not that difficult to use. So I've been using it now for 50 days, and when I signed up to the app for the first time, I had to tell the app what my current level was. So I kind of pitched myself around HSK 5, although I've not really taken a HSK before. I decided to go with the 5, and basically what it does, it assumes then that you know anything from HSK 4 below. So what it then does as you go along is it throws in the odd word like wa or e, or basic words, just to make sure that you know them, whilst also teaching you new words. It mixes them in. So I've been using it for 50 days, and it assumed on my first day I knew 1,200 words. And you can see as we've gone along by each day, the number of words that I know has increased and increased pretty much every single day. So the colour down here shows that the characters that it assumes you know. So although it doesn't know you know them, that number is slowly decreasing because it's testing me on these words every day. And if I know them, then that's fine. It will move me on to new words. This bar here shows the words that I have a strong memory in, so ones that I should know with no problem when I see it. And then at the top you've got the black here. That's characters that are probably weak, so you need to refresh them as soon as possible. So you can see each day. The idea obviously is that your number of words keeps going up. It doesn't matter too much if some are weak or some are strong. You keep reviewing them depending on how much time you put in. So from 50 days ago, I've gone from 1,200 words all the way to almost 2,300 words. So that is 1,094 words, to be absolutely precise, in 50 days. That is pretty impressive, I must say. I'm absolutely delighted with my progress. And that's where I lie at the moment. So let's just take you through some of the other parts of Hack Chinese. So you've got here your weak memories. So at the moment it says I've got roughly 23 weak memories and that I need to improve them. So when I go to study next, which is up here, it will throw those weak memories into that lesson just to make sure that I know them. So I'm just going to click on the weak memories part here, and in a second it should load up. And what it will do, it will show all the characters that I know, and it will kind of order them from strongest memory at the top to weakest at the bottom. Just taking a little bit of time to load here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, oh, there we go. So words you've learned. So this is where the magic happens. We track everything you learn, remember and forget, and use spaced repetition to create an optimal review schedule just for you. So this is what Hack Chinese is all about, spaced repetition. So at the top here, it's showing me the words I have no problem with. So I have a strong memory with these, and it says that I shouldn't need to be tested for this word for another 457 days. So these are all the more basic words in the earlier HSKs that I should know, and generally I do know. But it's when you go down below that you then start to see that bar go down. Now I've got quite a few here because I know quite a few characters, but the further we go down, the weaker my memory gets. And then with these words at the bottom, this is where I need to take care. So these words here are ones that I might not know or need to refresh as soon as possible. And then when you get down here, it's used cleverly the little battery icon here. So this one here, which I actually do remember, is S, which is to tear, as it tells us here. I last reviewed it 10 days ago. So basically it's saying that it's a new word I've learned and I need to review it again soon. So this will probably pop up in my next lesson. And you can see you can actually highlight them. And with some, you actually get example sentences. Now for the earlier HSKs, you get example sentences with all of the characters. But at the moment, they're still developing for the higher HSK levels. So that should be a feature that shows in all characters soon. So we'll head on back to the dashboard and we're going to show you some of the other features as well. So this is very useful here in showing which characters I know and which ones I need to improve on. So study consistency. Now this shows you a 30-day stretch of how consistent you've been. Now thankfully for me, because I've been using this every day, all my bars are green. If you study anything between 0 and 5 minutes in a day, I think that colour is orange. I think it uses a traffic light system. I can't remember exactly. And if you didn't study anything at all, I believe it's red. But I may have got that wrong. So what you can do, you can see your consistency and how well you're studying. So I can see here that I've been pretty consistent since I started using this. I had my best day here was just over an hour on June the 20th. And I've remained consistent. I try to hit 30 minutes every day. I started off with not really a target in mind, but then I thought, let's try and hit the same number. So I try and hit 30 a day. So I've got 9 more minutes to do today, which is July the 4th. Happy Independence Day, Americans watching. So we've then got another section I want to show you here, hard to remember. So this is ones that I struggle remembering. So what it does, it groups them together. This is just a section of them. You can see all of them by clicking here. And it will tell me the pinyin and the meaning here. So I can see here this word to attend. Then we have li yong, which is to exploit. I always forget that one for some reason. This one here, fan zheng, which is anyway, etc., etc. And then here we have the recently learned characters. So the ones that I've most recently learned. Didn't know, by the way, that there was another word for ice cream, bing ji lin. I thought it was just bing ji lin, but there you go. Learn something new every day. So these are the most recent ones I've learned here. And again, you can highlight them and see everything you want to know, which is great. And probably my favourite section is at the bottom here. So you've got your vocabulary size, which of course is really motivating to see it increase. You've then got your learning velocity. So learning velocity measures how quickly you are learning words. Slow and steady wins the race. So what it's telling you here is that even just 3 words a day would increase your vocab by 1,000 words a year. So what it's telling you is don't worry if you're not super consistent, you will still be learning well. Then you've got your retention rate. So retention measures how often you successfully recall the pronunciation and definition of a review word, and it gives you an average there, which is 83.4%. The best way to increase your retention is to study before your memories expire. So this is why I've tried to remain consistent, because by reviewing them often, it means they stick more, and it really does work. I particularly like my retention rate number here because it's 888, which is a very lucky number in Chinese, so that's quite nice. It then has your total number of study sessions, and it also breaks down the length of your study session. So I'm going to show you in a minute. You get a length of study section which can be anything between 0 and 10 minutes. As you can see, most of my lessons are 10-minute lessons. I then do the odd 5 and 6 minute one as well. You've then got your total duration. So I've used it for what seems like a dizzying number of 29 hours and 47 minutes, a whole day, and some sat at the computer learning. And the free trial here is just every user, by the way, gets 20 days free. So you can sign up to Hack Chinese, 20 days free, no card details needed or anything like that. Use it for 20 days. If you don't like it, fine, you can just leave it. If you like it, sign up. Discount alert, by the way, 50% off if you're part of the LTL newsletter. So join our newsletter. It's worth it because we get you 50% off of Hack Chinese, and it's a lifetime. You can claim that for as well. So we had Hack Chinese do monthly and annual membership. So sign up for as long as you want. You've then got so I set my target to HSK 5 in. As you can see here, I'm 91%. So I've just got 206 more to learn before I know all the HSK 5 words, which is quite exciting. Then you've got personal lists, which I've not made full use of yet, but you can create your own lists and set yourself targets in there, which is great. I'll quickly show you the list actually while we're here, if this loads, which it does. So you can actually make your own lists, or there's list catalogues here. So what I did, I clicked on HSK and I did HSK 5, and that's where my list came from. You can also do other lists. I quite like this here, topics. So you can do, for example, if you want to learn specific categories, so I can learn the weather, for example. So what it's telling me already is that I know 11 words already, and that there's 17 that I need to learn here. And some of these I will already know. So, for example, snow and umbrella I know. And what you can do, you can add it to your queue, and then, so in fact, let's do that for weather. Add it to the queue. And then when I go back to list, it will appear on my lists here. So you can see I'm doing HSK 5 at the moment. And you can also set them in order of priority as well, which is very cool. So I'm going to actually move personal list to the bottom because I haven't been using that. And it throws in the odd internet vocab, the odd occupation vocab, and it will now throw in weather as well into my lessons. So up here, you can study. You have here, which I quite like, is a lightning round, which is a quick 3-minute session. And you can also study, and there you can see you have the bar from 2 minutes all the way to 10. So that's great that you have the choice. We'll do a lightning session, although we won't complete the 3 minutes. I just want to show you. So here's the lesson. Now, what Daniel, the owner of Hack Chinese, recommends is that you don't use your mouse because it actually slows you down. So you can see you have the keyboard shortcuts here, so the arrow left and right. So this one, for example, I believe is 在去. So I'm going to click right to say I think I know.
采取.
And I was indeed correct. So it says, did you know the pinyin, which I did. Now I need to find out what the definition is. So do I know it? I'm not sure actually. I think it might mean to carry out or to take. So let's have a look. I think I know. So I'm going to hit the right arrow. And it is indeed to carry out or to take. So I was correct. Quite chuffed with myself about that one. So did I know? I did. So I hit right, and then we go on to the next one. So the next one here, which I believe is 方案.
方案.
And I was indeed correct. And this, I believe, is like a program or a project or something along these lines. So I think I know. And it is indeed a program or a plan of sorts. So I will say, yes, I knew the definition there, and etc., etc. So you keep on going here. It has the voice pronunciation as well, so you can listen to the tones, and you can just keep going. And you can see it up here at the top. You have a bar which counts you down, so that goes from the top all the way across the top right. So here I think this is Chen, and this is an emergency phone call. No, it's not. There we go, I got one wrong. So it's to take advantage of. I think emergency phone call is Jen. So I didn't know the definition, so I'm going to hit no. And then it said, you forgot. Take a moment to study it. So I'm going to try and remember it for a second here. And I think I've memorized it, so I hit the down arrow. And then I go to the next one. And then what will happen is that Chen will appear again in this study session if I have the time. So I'm just going to skip a few here, and there it is again. So you see it appears again. So it's spaced repetition. It's trying to make you remember it as much as possible, and normally it does it 2 to 3 times, and then it will test you again in maybe a day or two. So we'll skip the final 40 seconds here, and we'll finish early. And then what it will do at the end of each session, it will show you. So remember, we saw earlier that I have 23 weak memories. I've strengthened 6 of those, although 17 are still weak and they need to be reviewed. I didn't learn any new words here. So normally new words will appear in, I believe, a blue colour, and then words that you should know already, that they assume you know, also appear in, I think, a blue purpley colour. So they appear in different colours, which kind of groups them for you. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and it will have updated my profile with these new statistics. So you can see now I've got 17 weak words, and my study consistency has now gone to 24 minutes. So I've still got 6 more minutes to do today. So that's Hack Chinese in a nutshell. You can also make plenty of changes to your preferences. So dark mode, on or off. I personally quite like the dark mode myself. You can actually change the interface to Chinese. I changed it to English just for the purpose of this video, but that's quite good that you can also use Chinese there. And study preferences as well allows you to make a number of edits, which I won't go into too much detail of now, but for example, you can have different types of opinion style. You can hide the really hard words. You can change your review schedule, your learning speed, your assumed check rate, which is words that it thinks you know. You can change how long the lightning study is. So all these features, very cool. It's all the same on mobile, but of course everything's a bit more compressed and a bit more compact, and it's a bit more difficult to highlight them and get all the information like you have on desktop. So I would much prefer using desktop, and I'd recommend you do the same. So that is Hack Chinese for desktop. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you could actually see the progress that I've made. And the reason why we're endorsing this isn't because we have this partnership where we must promote Hack Chinese. It's because we want to promote the best apps for learning. I'm a learner myself. We all are at LTL. All our foreign staff are learning Chinese, and we want to share the best apps with you. And the progress I've made with this has been better than any other character learning app. There's other apps I like, which we'll talk about in the future. Do Chinese I find is really good for reading, but for my vocabulary and my character practice, nothing has come close to this in my 2 years of more intensive study with Chinese. So I highly recommend you go to hackchinese.com. As I mentioned, if you're on the LTL newsletter, then there's a 50% discount waiting for you. If you'd like to take advantage of that and you're not on our newsletter, comment below. I'm sure we will be kind enough to try and help you out. So I hope this introduction to Hack Chinese was useful for you. I hope you can see that really you can get far. It doesn't matter what level you are, you can really get far. It's just all about consistency and a will, determination to succeed and win. We can all do it. We will bring you some more app reviews in the future. There's another video where I reviewed an app called HSK Online, which is also really good for vocabulary, and of course if you want to study for the HSK exam, whether it's 1 all the way through to 6, that's great. We'll bring you more as well in the future. If there's ones that you would like us to review, again, comment below. Maybe we'll write a review for you, or we will do a video as well, or even both. And if you want to find out more about Hack Chinese, go along to our blog. There will be a link right in the description. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.